Okay. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world. It's Grant Cameron, and I'm doing another presentation on orbs. This was something I really didn't intend to get into, but I seem to be getting very deep into this subject. I've got some guests with me tonight from Chicago. We were going to have another guest from Illinois. She's still working, but we're just going to have an open roundtable. Everybody will introduce themselves. And we actually have Desta Barnaby, who's in the background, who hopefully will jump in here. She's producing this show, but she'll jump in because her and I have just been on a series of, I guess what you'd call them, orb hunts or whatever at a farm where they were photographing orbs. And we went there, this would be a couple of weeks ago. And at that point, we got nothing. We had 3 cell phone cameras. There was 3 of us. We got nothing. The woman at the farm was still getting, I think, 99 photographs, and they all basically had orbs, 1, 2 piles of them. And Desta went home and started playing with a point and shoot camera, which I haven't seen too many people using point and shoot cameras. So we all got into the point and shoot cameras, and we went back just a couple of nights ago, and Desta won. In terms of the 4 people taking photographs, everybody got these orbs, but Desta's were by far and away way more complex than everybody else's photos. So Desta's here, I'm here. My basic interest is in consciousness, how this links into consciousness and what's actually going on. And then I'll throw it over to Jan, who's on his way to Mount Shasta. Jan, say hello and introduce yourself and explain how you got me dragged into this particular case tonight.
Okay, yeah. So I'm Jan Yonder, and I live in Chicago as well, and I met through a different Jeff, through Jeff Becker, had introduced Jeff Loehrke. I hope I'm saying that right. Jeff will correct me, and had kind of put us together since we're both in Chicago, and had some interesting experiences, and Jeff was having these bizarre, really amazing orbs visiting him. And so I think Jeff just connected us to have somebody locally for the other Jeff to talk to. And so then I got into it, and then Grant and I were on a call, and I was just mentioning it to Grant, and everything that Grant was describing, he's like, yeah, people will get these rods and these orbs and these, everything he said. I was like, oh, hold on, let me send you some of the shots that Jeff had. And I just grabbed like the 5 first ones that I did, and every single one was everything that Grant had said. So Grant was like, I need to talk to him. So that was that.
Yeah, and so Jeff, you take it from there. We haven't really had much of a conversation.
Yeah.
But you have a lot of photos, and I sort of can explain to people now. I'm keeping it sort of secret, but there is a pattern to what happens in orb photographs. And when I saw yours, I said, "Wow, this is something advanced." And I knew you had taken a lot of photos because it follows a pattern. So I contacted you. So basically, explain who you are and how you got into taking these photographs. How did this all start for you?
Yeah. So my name's Jeff Loehrke. I'm also here in Chicago. Jan had mentioned the story of how we had met and connected Grant and I here. So basically, I had started, I guess the first images I started getting happened after seeing a few UFOs, a few other experiences. And I'd started basically diving pretty deep into it, and, a lot of questions. And so I started, just being outside a whole lot and looking up at the sky a ton, and just trying to see anything I could. And eventually, through just trying different cameras and stuff like that, I sort of accidentally started getting I didn't purposely try and shoot orbs or rods or anything like that. And they just kind of started showing up in the images. And so I started, leaving my video camera at different places, and I'd film inside the house, and just started getting a bunch of crazy things happening, orbs going through cabinets and through the walls and stuff like that. There's just no explanation for it. And the fact that it was happening indoors and outdoors. And the more, definitely the more it's gone on, it's definitely gotten more complex, and there's definitely like more being shown to me. So yeah, it's just kind of kept rolling, and so uh, I'm kind of at the point of just trying to learn more about it, and myself, and what the connection might be. And I had some thoughts too on what the whole phenomena might mean in a way
Okay,
too. But
because
yeah.
tonight you're the expert here. So, did you have a UFO experience before, or is that what led it into this, or was it somebody else's UFO experience that you were seeing?
Well, I read a lot, and there was one book in particular called Harmonic 33, and I'm blanking on the author, but it was written by a fella who was in the New Zealand Royal Air Force, and this book was written like in the 60s, I think, and he started plotting out around the globe these common places where UFO sightings were occurring.
Yeah.
And then he started actually also tying in religious aspects and like spiritual moments throughout history in the places he was like plotting. But one thing in the book that he had mentioned is that if you look up in the sky and you do it often, within 20 years you'll see at least a couple UFOs. And so I just started looking up at the sky all the time, and by that time, there was a few documentaries out, and I always kind of just wanted the truth in everything, really, I guess, and in all parts of my life. And so my band that I play in here in Chicago, we went and played a festival up in Montreal, and it was like a punk rock festival.
Yeah.
And on the way back, I made the whole band in the car say, "We're gonna see a UFO," like 3 times, and we all chanted it together. And then as we got through Michigan, me and Allie, our singer, saw basically like a little white sphere-looking craft. It looked physical, and it was just kind of sitting up in the sky. We were the only two who saw it because the other guy was driving, and but that's kind of what got the ball rolling in terms of seeking out more and more, and and then the more you seek it out and kind of start showing other people, you hear their experiences too, and so yeah.
So are you're that's your main profession as a musician? Have you got any background in photography?
Not well. My day job is with a stock photo company, but I don't do photography with them. So I basically license content like images and video to agencies to use in like advertising and stuff like that. But that said, where I work has some of the best photographers in the world and photo editors, and so I had started sending some of the videos and photos to like one fella who manages all of the agency's like BBC content.
Okay.
I showed a bunch to him, and they were all like super impressed with it, and so I knew I like had something and was onto something. And then eventually we were the band again, except minus one person. We were out in Australia, in Sydney, this past November 2019. And we had a really, really cool sighting where we had gone with a friend who it was his 40th birthday, and he's from Australia. So we went with him, and we were with his whole family, and a big circular, just flying saucer craft was just floating there in the air, like in front of all of us. And everybody saw it, and it was just really an amazing, such a clear sighting. And then I had sent that video to a guy, Michael, who does a YouTube channel. It's MRBBB333, and he's sort of like an Earth Watchman. So he does videos about various weather phenomena around the globe. But he also posts like aerial phenomena and stuff he can't explain. And I like him because he's very objective. If he doesn't know what something is, there's no agenda with him. So I sent the video to him, and so then he did a whole episode on it because he had a video of the same craft from a guy in Georgia. So it's like 9,500 miles away, of like the same craft doing kind of the same, had the same characteristics. And so then I guess I started getting more into, I mean, when you see something like that, I guess you can't really help but, it's hard to not think about. And so you just keep wanting to find out more and more and like what the connection is. And then I started exploring sort of like the consciousness aspect of it. And so ever since I've started doing that, it's definitely turned into something where, yeah, I mean, I can get video or photos of you know, the rods and orbs really at any point. And it doesn't matter location, anything like that. And but it's escalated to there, I guess. So
Yeah, your pictures are pretty complex. In terms of you showed it to people who are photographic experts, and you probably know that the minute you show it, everybody starts with the bugs and the dust and all that kind of nonsense.
sure.
And so, did they make any suggestions to you, or did you get any of that sort of negative feedback from people who do photography all the time?
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, typically you have people who you learn quickly who when you show things to folks who are skeptical, and there are some people who are just, there's no matter what you're going to show them, they're not going to believe it.
Yeah.
And so I guess I stopped caring, I guess, whether like when I was showing somebody whether they believed it or not, because I had experienced it and I knew what it wasn't. And so, well, I guess to answer your question a little better, I had studied like the lights on planes, the just what things do in the sky, I guess,
Yeah.
because I wanted to find out what it can't be. Since I mean, there's not a lot I can do to find out like exactly what is that, you know, that I'm seeing, but I can find out what it's not. And so I did that through just researching like what lights are on planes and how they blink, what drones look like in the night sky, and I'd like film bugs and things like that to see just like the clear differences. And I have some good apps where I can slow down video. So yeah, that's basically.
You have to share your bug. Desta's making a collection of bug photos, so you have to share that with her. She's putting a catalog together, which is probably a
Cool.
pretty good idea. In terms of cameras, what kind of cameras? You said it sounds like you've used various cameras. Is there one that works better than others, or is there anything you can suggest there?
Honestly, I just use my iPhone. It's like an iPhone 11, like whatever the most recent one
Yeah.
is, but it has a great camera. I use that. I also have a Sony Handycam, like a 4K Handycam. I
Okay.
started using that has infrared on it, and then all the other stuff is filmed from my Arlo. I have this Arlo security cam that also films in infrared. So those are the three I use. So all the images really are one of those three.
And in the iPhone, are you using a flash on it?
Sometimes.
Okay. And let's go to Jan. Like, how did you link up to Jan? Have you had other people with you when you're shooting? Like with the other night, we had 4 people running around with cameras, and we were all like all photographing at the same time in the same direction and stuff like that. Have you? What's your connection with Jan? Did you have him in there? And Jan, I guess I can ask you. Have you gotten any? Is it rubbed off on you in terms of getting any photos?
Well, I don't think I've seen orbs. I'd never had a photo. Well, I have had, but recently it was I know the day because it was the start of the harmonic convergence, and so it was July 5th. And that morning, I was at my parents' then, and I was walking down the staircase, and there's this photo. It's about 30 years old or so of my mom and my grandmother, and it's on the bottom shelf of the bookshelves, and the top third of the picture is obscured when you're standing. And a voice just came in my head, and it said, "There's an orb in that photo." I had just kind of turned and was looking at the photo as I went down the stairs, and a voice said, "There's an orb in that photo." And it's just like a 5-foot walk from there. So I was curious, and I looked, and sure enough, at the top is this bizarre little, it's a little like ball of light with a little tail, kind of like a tadpole. And anyway, so I was very excited about it, and I took it to my mom. And I showed it to her, and she said, yes, I've seen that before. And she just kept it to herself, but I'd never seen it before. So that happened. The only other orb, what might be an orb, I was in Joshua Tree National Park, and I was looking at a property with a client, and we were indoors in a courtyard. It was a courtyard home, and I was just taking photos of the courtyard, and I got, in the sky is this bizarre, like, it's a double golf ball orb of light. And my dad actually saw it in the pictures and said, what's that? And I said, oh, it's just a reflection. And then I looked later, and because it's a courtyard, you can see where the shadows are. And I was in the shade. So there was that. And my dad had just gotten a flying magazine, and somebody was gliding over the Himalayas. And I know the Himalayas have, spiritual connections with Buddhists. And anyway, I looked in the photos, and he had in his photos of this guy gliding over the Himalayas, there was the same double orb in some of those photos, which I just thought was interesting. But that would be the extent of my orb. Well, actually, and then I do have a video in Chicago. I have a video in Chicago of this giant ball of light. Well, giant, like basketball. Well, it was so far away, it's hard to say. It was like 1.5 miles away, and it was pretty big. Anyway, and I have that footage. I have that video of it, and it goes down the front of a building, and it illuminates the front of the building. So there was thought that it might be a drone. But I contacted the building to ask if they were doing anything, and they were actually concerned and asked for me to share the footage with them. They wanted to report this to some, I don't know who you report that to, but and then my brother thought it was a drone. And then a few days later, I was back at my parents', and there was this ball of light, and it was like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and there was this like grapefruit size or basketball size bobbling orb of light right at the north tip roof of my parents' house, about 15 feet above it. And it just sat there, and I tried to communicate with it, get it to come toward me or brighten or do anything. It didn't. It just kind of hovered there. And then it slowly started to drift due south along the axis of the roof. And finally, I pulled out my camera to film it. And I thought I was filming, but I just shot a photograph of it. So I do have the photograph. And when you brighten the photograph, you can see the stars of the night sky, and you can see how big it is relative to the stars. So I have that. That's it. But other than that, no. And Jeff has many times said, Jan, just go outside and film. You'll get them. And well, he gets them. But no, when I go out, no, I don't generally. And even last night, when we were sky watching and there was a lot of activity, I thought, let me take pictures and let me do this. And I did. And all I can see is the night sky. I don't have anything else. No orbs, nothing. So
maybe try shooting like on the ground, like at people and stuff like that. I think you should go to like Jeff seems to be like Mount Shasta in Chicago. I mean, you go there and I think that's what happened to us. Yeah. We went around this woman and we couldn't get anything. Couldn't get anything, but it sort of, it's almost like it rubbed off on us, and we got the virus, the orb virus from her, and suddenly Desta was able to take these photos, and they got more and more complex. Did you see the photo at Mount Shasta that was taken last weekend with Ricardo or Enrique's event?
Yes, I have not seen the orb yet. No, I'd love to.
It wasn't an orb. It was a weird looking, like a double, I don't know how you would describe it, almost like a rainbow with a rainbow going the other way, like an eye-shaped thing. Pretty weird looking on the with the group in the background. So it's interesting. Now going back to Jeff, have you had other people filming with you, or are you basically filmed by yourself?
Most of the time I'm by myself, but sometimes my girlfriend Allie will come out and just be out there with me. Sometimes she'll get stuff in video and in photos as well. But typically anyone else, when they try on their phone, it's not they don't get anything generally.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
but
then
you
if
try to exchange cameras, because Desta and I were doing that. Because she was getting way better stuff than me, so we actually exchanged cameras. And when I used her camera, I was getting the same. Almost like we'll maybe talk about this in a minute. The consciousness thing, where mine were sort of like 1 or 2, and you had to really look carefully to see the orbs. They were very dull. They weren't colored. Hers were multiple, way more orbs, different colors. And then we got this smoke stuff, which you've gotten, where I said to her, I said, "Oh, you're getting colors. Next thing you're going to get is the smoke." And sure enough, we got it. And it was
Yeah.
red. It was really, really bizarre. And then people said, "Oh no, it's giant red orbs." And we actually looked up in the book, the 2007 book that was written by Ledwith, and there it is, giant. They call them red giants. And we
Huh.
had filmed these things. It was kind of weird, and that's the thing where I say, whatever this is, you should spend some time analyzing them and gather as many photographs as you can, and you start to see these patterns that if it hadn't been for the woman that we were filming with, we would not have realized that this had been filmed many times before. So that's the kind of thing I would suggest, that maybe if Jan goes there and people exchange cameras and sort of record that kind of stuff as to the consciousness aspect, whether is it the camera or is it the person that's causing the orb thing? So what do you think about that? You think it's the person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've gotten it with like multiple phones that I own, and then when I bought, I was getting it before I bought like the security camera, and I still get it on the security camera. Any new camera equipment I get, it happens.
Wow.
So I don't think it's the equipment.
Okay. And you've got the interior security camera, so you're getting these ones where the orbs are flying around in the room and stuff in the middle of the night?
Oh yeah.
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 So what's your take on it? After all because how many photographs have you got? I guess we should go there.
Oh God. I don't know, probably over 10,000.
Yeah.
I'd
And
say.
you really haven't publicized them. You showed them to me. You sent me a whole pile of them, but you
Yeah.
haven't really publicized them or done anything with them, right?
Yeah. No, I haven't. I haven't really. It's been very exciting, like for me, and I just I guess have for social media, for example. I generally don't like posting
Yeah.
a lot of things. I don't know. There's a
You tend to you
part
can
of it.
get eaten on social media if you post that kind of stuff.
Oh, that too. Yeah, exactly. And also too, I'm not trying to prove. I'm not trying to prove anything. But I have thought about how if it would help others in some way, that if it was to serve others, I'd
Yeah, and
absolutely.
I think that's part of the pattern that people don't realize, that the vast majority of the people like you who have these collections of thousands of photos, up to 200,000 photos, some have, really have not publicized. They've maybe put one photograph on my Facebook, and then when I see the complexity of the photo, I know this person's got a bunch of photos. This is not a first-time photo. And that's what I saw when I saw yours. I'm like, wow, this guy's got a lot. This guy's he's down the road. This is not taking orb photos. He's down the road. And that's what happened when I did contact you. You did have what I predicted you would have, is huge numbers of photos and very complex photos. And that's where I think the consciousness things come in. So explain what you think about the consciousness, because that's the way I see it, is that it starts slow, it builds up, and it's like almost the words you use. They show you more, and it almost gets like the universe. It gets more and more complex as it goes along.
Yeah. Well, basically, I've just been connecting a lot of dots lately with a bunch of different kind of things, and I've been reading this book called Silence of the Heart by Robert Adams. I'm not sure if you know
Not
that
familiar
one.
with it. No, okay, go ahead.
I finished that today, and then I had a bunch of kind of streaming thoughts of how it all connects, and I wrote it down. So I hope you don't mind if I
Yeah,
just
sure,
read
yeah.
what I wrote. So
Yeah.
what I've come to realize is that we are the light beams, the beings, the orbs. Our orb is the light within. We only appear differently because we're in this mortal dream state where we've manifested as physical body, the rod, if you will. The reality is that you were never born, you'll never die. There's no space and no time. There's no physical anything. Everything is a projection of the mind. But where does the mind come from? When you question yourself in this way, to whom do these thoughts come to? Whom do these senses and feelings come to? You'd normally say me or I. Then you'd ask, what is the source of I or me? If you have an answer and you keep asking yourself questions, what is the source of these thoughts? Me. Who is me? What is the source of me? And then when you sit in the silence, a really wonderful thing starts to happen. And what happens is really your true essence reveals itself, and it's that joy and happiness and peace And what happens, what's happening is, since your everyday woke mind can't answer this question, say you're feeling frustrated, if you ask, who is it that is feeling frustrated? You would normally think, oh, it's me. Well, if you ask yourself, well, who is me? What is the source of me? And you just sit in the silence with no thought, what happens is your everyday woke mind can't answer the question, so it begins to dissolve. The ego is basically dying, and you begin to free yourself from physical, mental self, your physical world and universe, all things you detach. It's as if you're watching a movie. Before the movie starts, you can see the screen, but once the movie starts, you're still seeing the screen, but you no longer see it because there's moving pictures being projected onto it. Life is the same. It's all your own mental projection. You, we are the screen. You, we are omnipresent. You, we are the silence after the question, what is the source of I? When we talk about the veil of this reality being lifted, I believe that as the world is being given more glimpses of truth through yourself, Grant, and CE5, disclosure, everything, as more people question and open themselves up to the nature of this reality, when it's realized that all the things that happen without human explanation, that collective questioning and truth seeking begins to erode the collective projection of reality, the blue sky, everything physical. Most of us are used to. So I think that's the 1% that Stephen Greer talks about. It might be because I've pondered this realization that I'm able to take the images and videos I'm able to take. Did it take me multiple lives to come to these thoughts? Was it something I did or something that happened to me in this current life that helped me come to these thoughts? I'm starting to think the better question is, whom do these thoughts come to, and what's the source of it? So it's also important when we consider that every spiritual practice around the world, every religion's end goal is some form of enlightenment. And so, something else all these practices and religions around the world have in common is they speak about deities, gods, and what we're finding out more and more is that these deities and gods are seemingly the same, but with different names all over the world. Since the world is used to be more spiritual, and I'd reckon, had a better grasp on the truth of things, which for reasons I mentioned at the point in time, the veil was lifted and allowed those people to actually see these entities, deities we've been, reading about in religious texts and fairy tales. So you mentioned that, I guess before mentioned, there's not really like proof of the rod phenomena since like before 2012. I was thinking about that, and I shared this thought with Jan too, that some of the rods that I'm able to capture, it seems like they're clearly like multiple heads stacked on top of each other. And I thought about totem poles that are used in North America, and just like there's different names for the same things around the world, there are different versions of totem poles that can be found all over the world. So I was thinking maybe those are the first real example of the rods. Maybe they're my sage beyond the mind and mental concepts, and that's how they're leading me to truth with no words being spoken, but with self-realization. So I've always wondered, I've always wanted to like communicate to them in some sort of way, and I've always wondered why I didn't get some sort of like mental thought back to me, So that's kind of what I came to this morning, but I was just ready. Yeah, so
that's beautiful. Desta, you're not going to jump on that? This sounds like a conversation Desta and I had the other night.
That was very nice. Yeah, I know.
That sounds like you, Desta.
It's very linked in and connected for sure. Trying to get a connection with them, absolutely, and trying to figure out what reality is, who we are, what our connection is. Are they us? And yeah, I love everything you said. The totem pole thing was cool too. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Thanks.
She talks about the big Desta and the little Desta. You're talking about the big Jeff and the little Jeff. I think everybody comes to the same conclusion. So I mean, that's incredible that you've thought it through that and come to basically the same conclusion, that Desta and I were talking about, and which most people don't have no concept what's going on in terms of those basic things of how reality works.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, have you got some photos for people that are waiting for the photos? Have you got some stuff lined up that you can maybe jump on, share the screen? We would, of course, we're interested. How many of the being photos have you got? You have the one that you sent me, the one on the stairs, or actually two on the stairs.
Yeah.
Did that happen recently? The beings coming into your photos?
The one from the stairs?
The one from the stairs, yeah.
That was actually a few months back.
Okay.
Let's see. Host
It seems to
disabled.
fit the pattern that people don't have that many of those being photos, but they do have. Everybody seems to have one or two. Yours is probably the best, the clearest I've seen of any of the ones I've seen in the world. It was pretty clear.
Thanks. Yeah. Let's see. I think there's beings in more photos than people think, and I think just like looking through hours of tape, you can sort of see there's like figures moving that are invisible, and they become visible when they want to.
So the question I would ask you is, do you see faces in the orbs? Like if you blow them up, because that seems to be a pattern that people describe.
Yeah.
I just got this morning, actually. Came from Australia. It took about 6 months to get here. We're going to interview this woman. She's got 130,000 orb photographs, and we're going to do an interview with her. As soon as I read the book, it's a all-color book. Fascinating, and she gets into the whole thing with the faces in the orbs. It seems like there's a pattern that people seem to follow. That everybody has the same sort of. And do you photograph at the same spot? Like you have that stairway all the time. Do you photograph? Is that your main spot? And why are you photographing? That's, I assume, a balcony, correct?
Yeah, it's just we're on the first floor in Chicago. There's not too many places to go where it's dark enough and where there aren't moving lights to where you can like really set your camera down and not have other things in the area affect it. So I usually just go in the backyard. But it doesn't matter. I can, like I was saying, I've been on vacations and gotten stuff too. But let's see.
Yeah, show like here you got that smoke. Well, there's your the beam things, the smoke things.
This is cool. I got this like 2 days ago.
Wow.
I've been getting a lot more colors lately in the beams.
That sound familiar, Desta? Desta shoots. It looks like she's shooting a box full of Smarties.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's see. God, there's so many to go through that it's hard to choose. Let's see.
Yeah. Give us some of the smoke ones. I call it Zendra mist, and the beams. You've got that one beam, and that was taken during the day, correct? That beam photograph.
Yep. Yeah.
You photograph every day?
Yeah. Yep. In fact, all these right here are just from like the past few days, really.
Wow.
This was a cool one where it was the orbs.
Again.
And then if you, I'll typically go in Lightroom and see if I can like just bring out the contrast and dehaze a bit. Sometimes when you do that, you can get rid of like the highlights and shadows, and it brings out what's in the orb, I guess. This is
are you talking to them while are you trying to bring them in or communicate with them while you're doing this?
Yeah. So usually when I go outside, I ask, I do a sort of thing in my head where I say, brothers and sisters of the cosmos, I welcome you. If there's any extraterrestrial beings, celestial beings, spiritual guides, elemental beings, angels, archangels, I kind of go through the list and say, if you're loving, peaceful, and wish for a cosmic coexistence, I welcome you, and it's my intention to connect with you for the highest and greatest good of all.
Sounds like Desta again.
What's that?
It sounds like Desta again.
Yeah. So I usually say that in my head, and then they kind of start showing up, and it kind of progresses, and then sometimes when I'll ask them to kind of manifest, I'll be like, I ask that you please manifest and reveal yourself by materializing yourself beyond the threshold of light and into this physical 3D reality, if it's safe and appropriate for you, for the highest and greatest good of all. I'm not fearful. I'm ready for your connection and for you to manifest into this reality, for the highest and greatest good of all. And I usually say thank you 3 times at the end.
Beautiful.
So that's kind of my sort of like ritual type of thing I say when I'm out there.
Seems to be working.
Yeah,
So
and I'll
both
find too, if I'll do that in the morning too, I'll usually get a lot of stuff on the daytime, like Arlo security cam. At some point in the day, I'll get something pretty cool.
Wow.
Usually, but I like this one because of the.
It's like a colored rod. Yeah, we started getting Diane. Remember Desta Diane O'Connor got those colored rods.
Yep, absolutely.
And that I can guarantee you, before 2015, there was nobody filming that. Not that I was aware of.
Yeah. Oh, I bet.
In fact, the colored rods is probably only the last year or two.
Oh, wow.
The first beam I think I saw was Chris Bledsoe in 2015. And now they're colored and they're, what's that top right-hand one? Oh, look at this. Yeah. So you got the colors there again. It's almost like the balls inside. Again, can you blow that up? Because that's, again, we see that like it's a bunch of balls inside different colors.
Yeah.
And then you've got that, the left-hand side, is that haze type stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's the thing that people don't realize. That starts to appear. Most people aren't totally unaware that that's part of the phenomenon. But it's only advanced photographs that have that.
Yeah. This one I had actually found, so when I was a senior in high school back in 2003, this would have been New Year's 2003, I went on a band trip and we went to London for and marched in the New Year's Day parade.
Okay.
And I was looking through some photos I'd taken on that trip recently, and I found a few that had some orbs, like this one. There's an orb here, right here.
Is that a digital or is that a regular film?
That's a regular photo. I took a picture of it with another one from London. Seems to be something here and here.
Oh yeah, yeah, on the left-hand side, yeah.
Yeah, I guess when you start getting things like this, you start.
And that's pretty simple compared to what you got now. It's like it's following the pattern, and then it starts. Go to that top right-hand one, the multicolored. What is that?
This guy?
There, that one there, yeah. What is that? Oh my goodness.
It's
That's
not
incredible.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, so they
look at the color in that. Holy shit.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's like it's endless. You know what I mean? It's like the faces just go on.
I can see the faces.
Well, if I'm in Chicago, I'm stopping there. I may be there next August. I'm gonna stop, but we gotta.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Just see the stairway. Here's the famous stairway. It's like
yeah, I'll show you the. So there's these mini saucers that I see pretty often, along with the rods and the orbs. I kind of like this one. It looks like there's 3 beings.
Yeah, it looks like a gray standing there looking at a small gray.
Yeah.
He's looking at his little kid. That's pretty weird.
Here's one where my interpretation of it sort of like, I think like that's a head, and this is a body, and there's a circular craft right here, and also right here. So, I don't know if you can tell if that makes sense.
I see what you're referring to. Can you see it, or are you feeling the photograph? Can you see what's going on?
Can I see what's going on?
Yeah, can you see that, or are you just
Yeah.
shooting and picking up later?
Oh, I'll see it when I take the photo. You know what I mean?
So you see that misty stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it appears, does it grow? Does it come out of, what's the development of it?
It sort of just comes and goes. I don't know if that makes sense, but I have some GIFs where I can show you it's sort of coming in and going out.
Wow. Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Here's that being photo of the.
Yeah. Okay. Blow that up. Have you seen this, Desta? The little green guy there. He's got his face. You can see the face. He's looking.
Yeah, and then there's a bunch of little ones here too.
Oh yeah.
These are all little beings.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's pretty.
I think this is something as well.
It's like it's manifesting. Yeah, I can see it like it's looking the other way, right? It's looking towards the being, correct?
Yeah.
What do you think, Jan?
I think it's really fascinating. And he has more to. I mean, that series of beings on the staircase that night. I remember there's several in that series, and the beings keep changing. I mean, or what could appear to be beings. You know, here's another one.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
That is something else.
Yeah.
Do you think we're meant to figure it out? Because that's what I was thinking today. Is like it may be like crop circles. Because I'm getting sort of in touch with Colin Andrews, who's had. If you've seen, he has had some bizarre things appear in his yard, and then this crop circle appeared in England and stuff. And it's almost like I call it the theory of wow, where they want to make you work on it, but there really is no answer to it. It just gets more magnificent, more weird, but you really can't resolve it exactly what actually it is.
Yeah, and that's why I was kind of when I was saying earlier about going inward, you know?
Yeah.
Like not searching for the answer. Yeah, like there's a commonality of like not having expectations and trying, I guess, if that makes sense. Like the effort itself isn't really your true essence, I guess. And
because yours, no matter what it is, you could take like a slide presentation and like this kind of stuff. You could just sit there, show a photo every 2 seconds in a slide presentation for an hour, and nobody would get up and leave. They would just sit there and go, "Wow, wow, wow."
I'll tell my friends that.
There's a woman, I don't know if you've seen, there's a woman in Phoenix who's getting stuff like this as well.
Oh yeah?
Being heavily attacked because she's putting it on the internet. But it's the same sort of thing as you, and she just basically says, you know, feel love, open yourself up, and
yeah.
And then there's a girl in Macedonia.
I think it really all centers around the love in your heart.
Yeah.
And the reason for wanting to connect with them, you know?
Wow.
This one is cool. I think that's a ship materializing, and then it's all beings around it. Let's see. I like this one a lot. It's a pretty clear face to me.
Yeah.
This one is in a lot of my images. I'm starting to notice this same face. I don't know.
Do you get any messages with it in terms of, or intuitive feeling about what's going on when it's happening? Or do you get dreams? Are they leading you towards something?
I'm not really getting dreams so much. I've had a few that were a little strange, like out of body type of stuff where I was sort of aware.
Wow.
But no, like I'm starting to think like the messages are almost like
wow,
who I'm connected with, like me doing this.
That's looking a little bit left, correct? Is that like a light on the?
There's a light that's like quite a bit down. This orb is like pretty much right in front of me. The light is just it's just transparent, the orb. But like you can see the tree behind it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wow.
This is a garage right here.
Wow, that's impressive. That's sort of like the one Desta got the other night with me. It looked like I was photographing it. It was sort of pretty clear.
Yeah.
Let's go to some of yeah, and then show some of these beam ones at the bottom because they look pretty familiar from what I've seen from others. Yeah, it's almost like it's alive.
Yeah.
What you're seeing there.
It's funny. I during the harmonic convergence, I had taped. I set a video camera up, just pointed straight up at the sky.
Yeah.
And going back through the footage, I was noticing like when I would look frame by frame on my phone, on certain frames, there would be nothing on my phone, but on my computer going through it, there would be something. And then, but then both Jan and I noticed it was almost as if like when you were looking at it, it would move. And there was a few times where things would like appear and then disappear, like while it was like specific frames. And that sort of reminded me of that Dorothy Izot talking about the light being a living thing. That doesn't end when the picture's taken, I guess.
Oh yeah, look at that, eh? Wow. Blow that up a little bit. That looks like there's one other Macedonia where it looks like there's an orb going up a tunnel.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, we've got one from Macedonia. It's going a different direction, but it's the she'll love to see this one. Maybe you can send me a copy of that. I'll send it to her. I think this.
Oh yeah. We've got this whole folder, baby.
Have I got this whole folder?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember that one there. Wow. I mean, I mean, some of them look familiar. Yeah. Okay, I'll find it in the folder.
Yeah, this one is really cool. So you can see these kind of square things.
Yeah, yeah.
One coming here too, and then there's two of them around whatever. Like this is a being, I'm guessing. It's like around its neck.
Yeah.
Shoulders, if that makes sense.
Wow.
And then there's also down here. Looks like a little craft with a little being sitting inside there.
Wow. It's just amazing.
That looks almost like a mask, like a Mardi Gras type mask. Like it's so clear, it's so defined.
Is it a message to wear a mask? But that's a different type of mask.
Maybe.
I was just talking to Nicole. Somebody at her restaurant was diagnosed, and luckily she said she hadn't been with the person for 15 minutes, so she didn't have to quarantine. But
oh, good.
God.
Yeah, let's go to some of these the beam, like 2190, 2120. It was some of these beam ones on the right hand. Oh, now it's gone. Go up a little bit.
Sorry.
Right. Yeah, the 120. Say 20. Yeah, there. Yeah. See, there's a lot of that going on now. It looks identical to different places in the world. People are getting these. I don't know what it means.
Yeah. I've got let's see.
You got some that are broken where the light doesn't go. Like a lot of them, they seem to almost like they're showing off where the light goes halfway through the sky, but it doesn't go all the way through the sky. Or the beam.
Where the beam like stops like halfway up.
Yeah, halfway up. It breaks.
Oh.
Like almost like they're saying, no, this is not something going across the lens. Because people say, oh, this is a hair going across the lens. And then suddenly these photos appear where it only goes halfway across the lens. Yeah, there you go. There, yeah. So it's not going all the way through. It's breaking off.
Yeah.
That's a common feature too.
I've got some too where like a rod will fly through the sky and like it'll stop and then another rod like starts going again. And the other one stays there. I'll show you. Let's see. Back here.
there's that broken, that colored beam again. Wow, that's beautiful. So I've never seen one like that. It's like I've seen pieces like it, but wow.
Yeah,
It's almost like they're showing off. Look at this one.
yeah. Which one?
So, you know, a lot of people are claiming this is snow, slow speed, all this kind of stuff, but
Snow.
I don't think it's snowing.
It's speaking about showing off. There was one that you had, Jeff, in the day. You were coming back from the grocery store. It was just on the street, and it's just the ball. I think you were trying to film a different orb that you saw, but you ended up, when you reviewed it, had caught a different ball, and it goes from the street level up the front of a building or a house at Brownstone, and then it's up in the sky, and it starts changing from black to white, and going back and forth and zigzagging, and it felt very much like it was showing off, like, look what all I can do.
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. The color and the
I'll show that video for sure, Jan. In a sec here.
It's a great video.
This is from yesterday. To me, this seems like a portal here on the left.
oh
I
yeah.
don't know if that.
Writing a book on portals. Tell us about this.
See that?
Yeah. Play it again.
So the Arlo security camera goes off when there's movement, but also it'll go off too when there's nothing there. Like sometimes the power line just moves and it sets it off.
Yeah.
But that's why this clip's just 10 seconds, because it records 10 seconds at a time. But
Okay.
it seems to be a circle. Like in, let's see if I could stop it in a good spot to show that. But yeah. I don't know if you could see like sort of an outline.
That's pretty weird.
Can you tell from, is it slow enough to see that it's a,
Is that it's an arc? There's a
see how it's like a hoop almost?
yeah. It's an arcing to the left. Yeah.
So this is just from the other night, footage from the Arlo security camera.
Oh my goodness.
So it's just pointed straight up at the sky.
What do you think, Desta?
This gets pretty nuts.
Well, I was going to say it's obviously not rain, because then the front of the camera would be getting wet and you'd be seeing a buildup of it. But I mean, oh my gosh. Yeah, it looks like they're coming from one spot. Like there is a portal up there, and there's like, oh yeah.
Yeah, like it's coming from another dimension, just shooting stuff at you.
Yeah. It gets better. So I'd strung a bunch of clips together from that same night.
Okay.
So I don't know what that was just then on the lens. This.
Yeah.
I have no idea. But it doesn't really seem to have legs or arms or wings.
So this would be in the middle of the night?
Yeah. So I see like what I think is possibly a ship up here.
Yeah. Or you're getting the mist where it's coming out of that mist stuff. Yeah. You can see the mist there. You can see the mist forming there. Look at that. There's the mist again. So you can see it coming and going. It's like a. There's the mist again.
So this is all shooting in infrared?
Yeah.
Hmm. And is the daytime picture of that arcing thing the same? Are these the same power lines that are going to the same kind of area?
Yeah, yeah, same shot.
So I wonder, yeah, so you got to wonder,
Wow.
something's obviously there, coming from there.
Whereabouts in Chicago are you? You pretty in the middle?
I'm in Logan Square, so it's like the west,
Okay.
northwest side, I guess.
Wow. Well, there's one going across there. It's like a little rod going across there.
Yeah, and the camera too is on top of this gate that's pointed just up at the sky. So, and there's no real light source around it. It's sort of where I put it there, and it's a clear shot somewhat of the sky.
There's the mist again.
Wow.
It's some good examples too of. So I think, and I'll show you in the videos too. A lot of times, like the rods will come down to the ground, and then you won't see anything happen, and then basically they shoot back out into the sky.
Okay.
But after they shoot to the ground, that's when I think they're basically like, so the shots on the stairs I got, it's basically from that when they land and they're in this state of materializing, I guess. This one is, oh, this one's cool. It's sort of like an arm coming down. They do lots of things, like I noticed a lot of times it's like they're peeking into the photo too. Like they know exactly what I'm filming, and like they just pop in moments I really don't ever expect.
You ever have trouble with the camera, like the people who report the batteries draining and stuff like that, where you have, or are they actually helping you doing the opposite?
What do you mean?
Like a lot of people will talk about they go to take the photo and then the camera jams or the batteries are dead, or
I haven't had a lot of those type of things happen.
Okay, they're actually trying to help you, almost like they're.
Yeah, I get flickering lights a lot though, like when I'm indoors and outside too. This is just a GIF I made. Let's see one kind of coming across.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's one of those slow moving ones.
This one's cool. You'll see this. See, it's like a orb lands here, and then another one comes from up here to like pick them up, and then they take off.
Is that the same background, or what's that background?
Yeah, it's the stairs.
Well, that's the stairs. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. It's gonna be a famous stairway.
I'm trying to think of what this one is. There's another Arlo night cam one. If you could see there, this will start over again, but you'll see there's these two spheres that kind of move in tandem together.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times they like to move around together. Let's see. Okay, so this is from that like 3-minute video I just showed you.
Yeah.
And it sort of to me shows like it turning into a rod, right?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like the mist goes into the object, whether it's an orb or a rod. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the ones? Yeah, you would have the ones with the sort of the mist and then the orbs at the same time, where you got.
Trying to think. I have pictures of that for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, here. Okay, here's the mist like coming in from above. If you can sort of see that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if GIFs stop when you. There we go.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that's not an orb. That's something, and most people don't realize that's part of the pattern. That it's not just little balls. And the advanced photos will have this kind of stuff in them. People who've been filming a long time start picking this stuff up.
Oh, okay, this was the night of the harmonic convergence, I think. This is with the Sony Handycam. I don't know why I keep zooming in on accident, but it just sort of comes in to check things out and then takes off.
When that happened, Jeff, did you get any kind of message or feeling or anything?
No, when I do get more of like a physical sensation, I guess like I sort of get a vibe, if that makes sense, like when they're around, but most of the physical sensation comes when if you see the photos where there's like a ton of rods at once.
There's the orb and the mist at the same time, yeah.
Yeah. So when I'm doing photos like this guy, sometimes a lot of them will come up like, it's like they come up at the camera like right when I'm taking the picture and I can see them and feel them.
Okay.
And they don't, it's not like they, the other night it was like pretty intense to where it was like almost like it felt like pushed back, where it's like, it's a very like warm feeling, I guess, but also it's a, like in my hands when I'm doing it, it's sort of pins and needles-y feeling, but not in a bad way, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Zoom in on the top left of that frame there. You've got the just above the you got the color now a little bit higher. You got the colored thing again. There is. You got multiple colors in that one.
Yeah. Let's see.
Well, most of yours have color. Yeah. That's weird how it's broken. Eh?
Yeah. I think I got some good close-ups of the broken. Let's see.
Oh yeah, see it's on, yeah. Orange.
So these ones were frame shots from a video I had taken a few weeks back. So a lot of times at night I'll see just basically a light going across the sky and I guess no specific direction, but that where it's like the whole thing is illuminated,
Yeah.
like a just a sphere of light going through the sky, almost as if it was a star, but way lower, obviously. But when I started going through those frame by frame, it's as if it's like a different face or entity in each frame. Like it changes literally every frame, and so like there, it almost made me start thinking that maybe there's a larger craft behind this all, that, and maybe that's like a portal window or something that
Okay.
the beings come and look out of. Sorry, they're kind of low res. This one's kind of cool. I took a photo in a crystal I have.
So how do you explain what you're doing there?
So basically, I just took a clear Lemurian crystal, and I just put the crystal up to the right up to the lens to take a photo through it, because the crystal is very clear.
Okay.
Just to see what happened, just for fun mostly, I guess.
Yeah.
But I ended up getting some pretty like clear faces, and these, I don't know if you can see.
Oh, yeah.
There's an eye here.
Desta's got crystal. She's gonna be trying this now. I know.
Oh yeah. We'll have to compare. Go through our collections. Yeah, I love crystals. I have lots of them. This is the video that
Jan was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this one. And you explained that you were actually filming a different orb, and then
So
yeah,
I went out to get groceries, and I had turned the corner and I saw this white orb that was up here. So that's what I was trying to film.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And it was only when I went back through the footage that I saw there was this one that was lower.
and you saw this with your eye as well. Like, I mean, the other one you saw with your eye. Yeah. So
the other one,
so if you,
not this one.
Yeah. So if you saw it with your eye, it wouldn't be a glare in the lens of the camera.
Right.
Yeah.
So you'll see it stop here. It turns black and then just drops. Turns white again. Black.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is a cool one of what I think is one of the mini saucers I mentioned before. It kind of goes like right over my feet.
Wow.
Wow. It's quite the collection you got.
Yeah, let's see. This one's cool. This shows, see how they stop and the other ones keep going?
Yeah.
It's there on the left. Yeah, it kind of goes really fast, but what's cool with this one, it kind of shows what I was saying earlier, how sometimes the rods will they'll stop and another one will keep going.
Yeah.
This is more circles, I guess, doing it, but It's like sometimes it's glitches in the film, right? But when one stops and the others keep moving around it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, this one's cool. So the first part was in the full speed, and then I slow it down, but it's a craft kind of whizzing by here.
Yeah, looks like the Starship Enterprise taking off.
Yeah, you can see it sort of like turning and frisbeeing.
Wow.
Go back.
You got a Mac, it shouldn't do that.
Yeah, right. Of course, right as it started.
Yeah, it's not gonna play.
Is there cursing allowed on the show?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. Not meant to be, I guess.
Yeah, I guess forget that one. Trying to think what else would be really cool to show. So much stuff. Is there any like types of?
I think you show me what I'm interested in. You've got the, maybe if we can maybe shut it down now and you can send anything that's coming new, and I will update you what we've got in terms of, I'll send you the folder I've got, which has maybe.
Oh, can I share one more thing with you?
Yeah, sure. We
Okay.
have maybe 10,000 photos from around the world. You can take a look at that and see
Yeah.
what compares to yours. And then the thing with Desta with the bugs, I'd like to get you and Desta to sort of exchange that kind of stuff, because Desta's making a collection.
Cool. Yeah. So the night after I did that orb panel,
Yeah,
took a bunch of photos, and I got some. Did you? I don't know if you were.
You showed me this, but show again. Yeah, you showed me this, I think, with the object, the ship object.
This one was more like.
Oh yeah, looks. So you
Tons
got
of
that.
rods and orbs, but.
Wow. Yeah,
this is the first time I've kind of seen like where the top of the orb is.
Evaporating.
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. A little bit of color in those beams.
Yeah.
Some of those beams you have video of too, right? And because they're actually moving up. They're not necessarily. Yeah, it's very interesting.
They're moving up, not down. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of times. They do both because they, like I was saying, they sort of land and then take off.
Oh, there you got some broken ones. Zoom in on the top part there. You've got some broken beams there again. Oh, look at the colors, yeah. I think I even have a collection of beams. I'll have to add yours to these colored beams.
And Jeff, did you say you had any of these orb books? Like, are you looking to see what the people that are trying to research them are saying about the cameras, or talking to them, or anything like that?
Not really.
Show that colored one down at the bottom there. Those two colored beams there. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty red. And there's something at the bottom of the stairs there. What's that at the bottom of the stairs?
Oh yeah, this.
Yeah.
I'm realizing there's one one I didn't show you of the another one of the it's called beings, stair beings. Let's see.
Oh, the beings, yeah. Can't skip over that.
I was gonna show just a daytime like reference photo.
Yeah. Okay. The famous stairway.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's that one, but I have another one that's might be towards the bottom here. Sorry.
And there get some more beams.
Sorry. Thought I had this sorted out.
I like your
I'll find out
titles.
what's that?
Stair beings instead of star beings.
Yeah. Oh. Oh yeah, here. Zoom in here.
Yeah, this one you sent me too. Yeah, that's pretty weird. A little snowman.
Mhm.
Anyway,
Very impressive. Do this one with the big beams. Oh,
oh sorry.
no, it's here. No, I just saw that one.
Which one?
This one here, that one, just the one with all the real left to right. That one there, yeah.
Oh, this guy.
No, the one you just had over your cursor over. Yeah, that's pretty cool too. You got laid on this side of the fence.
Yeah.
The one with the beams going across the screen. There seems to be. Go back, right? The
07, I think. it is.
7605. Yeah, where your cursor is there. Yeah,
Yeah, that one.
that one there.
Yeah.
No, they're beside it. The left.
Yeah,
there.
I got
That one there.
Oh yeah. This one is cool. It's like
Wow.
I perceived it to be like a ship here, but then I see a face here. Eye, nose, mouth.
Oh yeah, yeah. Looks like a female. Very impressive. So you're gonna keep going, be shooting.
Yeah, I don't think I have a choice at this point.
Well, we'll have to have another one down the road with people who shoot this kind of stuff, like Desta and I, and there's more and more people now joining on, and maybe even have sort of a little group where we can exchange ideas about how to shoot and what's being shot and what people are getting, because a lot of people are in this obsession of trying to photograph every night, and I appreciate your showing what you've got, because you have one of the better collections. I've seen a lot of them, but a lot of people have collections like yours, like just really, really bizarre stuff. All the different types, and anything you can leave us with in terms of advice for why this would be important for people, why they should pay attention to this.
Because I think people should pay attention to it, because I think it makes you realize, takes you out of yourself and realize there's a bigger picture at play, and I think it teaches you what love really means, in a way. Not just love for like, I guess reverence for all life is where I'm getting. But I guess just the important thing is just being open to it and trying things for yourself and looking at information objectively, and not doing things because anybody says they're the right or wrong thing to do, but just trying things yourself and being open, and understanding that there are things that happen that we don't have an explanation for, and
Exactly.
it's still happening. So
I appreciate it.
Nice.
Very much appreciate it. And Jan, get your camera out at Mount Shasta.
Yes.
Flash. Just you can take 500 photos. Just keep flashing. May bother the people in the circle, but see what you can come up with. And when you get back to Chicago, I need you to sit with Jeff and sit by watch that stairway and see what you can get.
I would love to.
Beautiful.
yeah, and
Yeah,
real quick, Jan, I owe you so much. Like,
no.
well, when you take photos and images and stuff like that, it's hard to find folks who are patient enough and curious enough about it and selfless enough to listen, and you allow me to send thousands of photos to you, and
No, well, thank you for sharing it with me. It's awesome.
yeah, but it's just been so encouraging for me to go further with it. So thank you, and thank you.
Thank you. One thing I learned, you know, when I would go out and do the photographs trying to catch anything, I think I had a lot of self-doubt, and I didn't put forth the mental work that you did, like the consciousness connecting, which I think is very important. You know, you invited entities of a positive vibration that were interested in having a relationship or learning more, and I think that's important. I should do that. So I'm going to add that step next time I try.
Yeah, man.
Thank you.
We'll do it together.
Awesome.
Beautiful. And it will work out as it did with Desta and I, where I think we had at some point where no expectation. We saw Janet taking the photos and we saw that it was possible. And then we just said, what the heck? Let's go out and click. And we had 4 cameras going, and we must have taken 400 or 500 photos, and then go in and take a look at it. And it started to pick up from there. So
yeah, one thing maybe try film. I don't know what kind of phone you have or what kind of video capability you have, but a lot of times I'll put my flash on my phone.
Yeah.
If it's in the back area of the fence where it's like super dark and there's no other like light sources.
Yeah.
I'll just do that and just step away for a few minutes, and then I'll come back, and then I'll go over the footage, and there's usually something there. Or like the Arlo cam is also in back where like our garbage is. So sometimes with that security cam, I'm able to check it from my phone, and I'm also able to like record from my phone to enable the camera to record. So sometimes I'll try recording, and then I'll go out. I'll leave my phone in the house, and I'll go out and like take out the garbage and just see if anything happens in the sky above me when I'm doing it. But just try like leaving your camera places and just letting it roll randomly. See what you get.
Beautiful. I'll be trying it. I'm sure Desta will try it.
I will.
Yeah, I'm curious for us to do it at your place, Jeff, and film. You be filming it, and I'll try to film with my camera. That might help. That might help me a little.
Yeah.
That's what happened to us, is that we went around this Janet. We had never taken orb photographs, didn't even think it was possible, whatever. And when she took those 99 photos when we went into the house and they put them on the big screen, we're going, wow, we were here when this happened. It's different if you see someone's photos, but when you're there and you see the photos being taken and then put onto the computer, it sort of gives you that thing, well, man, this is possible. And that's when it sort of started. More for Desta than for I, but
and then
it's with digital, you can take like 500 photos a night, and it doesn't cost you anything. So just keep filming. As long as your flash will hold out, you just keep going.
Yeah. And it's interesting too how the more you're out there doing photos and stuff, that you start feeling them too. Certain senses within you start awakening too, I feel like. So
definitely.
Okay, and I'll see if I can set up some sort of thing where it's just like a gathering where people who take orb photographs can meet maybe once every 3 weeks, or even if we don't even tape it, where people can sort of exchange stories of what they've learned and where they're just people who, and you have to be a photographer to actually get in and watch and see where people are going with it.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Beautiful.
Okay. Good.
Thank you very much, and thank
Thanks,
you, Jessica,
everyone.
for taping this. And I think people are going to be very interested in this because this is one of the better collections there are.
Cool.
Yeah.
I agree.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone. See you
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks, guys.
Beautiful.
Bye.